Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and the second episode in our Trading Up series. So if you didn't see the first episode, I'll put a link up here somewhere to that. But basically we are aiming, or I am aiming, I should say, to get from a cheap runaround car all the way up to an Aston Martin. So if you haven't seen the first episode of this series, we bought a Citroen C1. We're going to carry on the work on that car and get that finished in this episode and then get that listed up for sale so that we can put the money back in the bank and buy something a little bit better and more expensive. And hopefully at the same time, we'll make a bit of profit. So without anything else to say, let's crack on and see what jobs we've got left to do on this car. Right, so let's go back to our whiteboard and find out what's left to do on the Citroen. So these are, for anyone who didn't watch the previous episode, these are all the things we covered and where we currently are with our total price. The purchase price of the car was £375, and then with the co-part fees, it came to £615. So we need to address that front tyre because it's balding on the inside edge, so I'll take that down and get that done off camera. Probably get a part worn, should only cost about 20-25 quid, something like that. Dents to the rear bodywork, so I'm going to start with that. I've bought one of those Paintless dent repair kits. I'm going to have a crack at that and see if we can get it done. The alloy wheels, I want to do something with the alloy wheels. And those bolts that are holding them on have all gone rusty, so I want to kind of spray them up and make them look a bit more presentable. And then we need to finish it off with an exterior clean, ready to take the photos to get it listed for sale. So enough waffle, let's crack on and get these jobs done. So I've had a go at trying to do the dents myself with the PDR kit I bought, and basically I don't have the skill. So to rectify that, we have a Reese, and he's going to help us hopefully make this car look a little bit better. Just want to tell us a bit about yourself yet?
Yeah, I'm Reese. I run Precision PDR, which is a local Peterborough business. Kind of do the surrounding areas up to Stamford, Grantham, Kings Lynn, that kind of sort of.
How long have you been doing it for now?
Just over 7 years, but a year.
So you kind of know your stuff then, so yeah, you should be pretty good.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, so do you want to go and do a quick run through what we're going to try and do today?
So what we're going to do on this side shouldn't be too much of an issue in lifting up the actual dents. It's just obviously going through and lifting the whole bulk of it, because you got your small dents, but it's actually created a bigger damage. And then that's led through all the way up to the body line here. The only thing we do have to be careful with is the small bits.
I think you mentioned possibly chipping the paint, but I said I've got a touch-up kit anyway, so if that does come up, it doesn't need to be like showroom finish. It just needs to look a little bit better presented, I think, for the next owner.
So this side shouldn't be too complicated. The other side might be a little bit more challenging, purely because of how it's kind of twisted this like seam. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So where, I don't know whether it's where you tried before or where the damage is impacted, it's created like this high line here is the second skin, pushed it out. So whether we'll be able to push this out without damaging the paint. Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, if we can dress it up and make it look any better than it is.
But yeah, actually lifting this bit of the damage shouldn't be the end of the world.
Excellent. So, okay, cool. Well,
I'll let you. Should be pretty good.
I'll let you get set up then, and we'll go from there.
You know I'll always keep on coming back to you. Even when the road gets tough, you're enough. I don't know how I deserve you. You know I'll always keep on coming back to you,
The only thing we do have to be careful with is the small bits.
I think you mentioned possibly chipping the paint. You said it might happen anyway. I've got the touch of paint to do it. Right, so Reese is just having a look at this area here. We've got an issue with the fact that it's had at some point a previous dent repair in this kind of vicinity, because we found a hole actually in the door shut, which I'll show you in a second. But because this bit here, the paint's cracked, the rust has got underneath it and it's actually started to lift it. So if we can't try and pull any more on this, it could actually cause damage. Now, I'm not fussed by this bit because I was going to tidy up the edge of the door and everything anyway, so I can kind of blend over here with some extra paint. But yeah, you say that they've put quite a small hole in the actual door shut. Right, so we're there. You see somebody's dotted around it with a bit of paint just to try and tidy it up. But ultimately that's been used in the past, you would say, for some form of dent repair on it?
Yeah, so I don't know if you'd be able to catch it in my light. You come back round.
Yeah. Let's get this.
You can see like the little spike pots. Let's see if I can point them out to you.
Yeah.
So they're just along this area here.
Right, okay.
And down here is where someone's gone in through the hole to try and push out the dent.
Oh, right, okay.
So what they would have used is either a drill bit or a sharp spike to punch a hole in the panel.
And so you would normally do that then?
No, that's a big no in the industry. Is
Right, okay.
especially on areas where they would have sensors. I mean, this doesn't have an opening window, so they wouldn't have a pressure sensor. But on front doors and stuff, especially on newer cars, because they got pressure sensors and stuff. There's so many things that could go wrong by doing it.
So what would you have normally done then? You wouldn't have done a hole like that. You'd have kind of tried to do it with the.
Would have just kept lifting it.
With the glue.
Either that or strip the inside out to gain access that way.
Okay. All right. Cool. Right. I'll leave you to that bit and see how we get on. So, but I'm guessing as the hole's there, you may as well now use it.
Yeah.
And then
So
I can just put like a rubber bung or something in there. Would you recommend stop moisture?
As it's there, we may as well use it to the advantage. And then we'll try and find a rubber bung.
So I just want to say a massive thank you to Reese for coming out and doing all this work on the car. In total, over the course of 2 days, I think he did about 6 hours work getting all the dents out. And if you look at the before and the afters and how much of an improvement that's made, I think that's, you know, a credit to his work. Yes, we had a little bit of an issue with that paintwork flaking off, but he warned me of it. I said still give it a go. I'm just really thankful for him. And yeah, the car is looking loads better. So with that done, let's move on to the wheels. So now that the bodywork's been done, I think we need to pay some attention to the wheels. As you can see on these, I've already mentioned about the fact, or hopefully I've already mentioned earlier in the video about the wheel nuts. These all need taking off, cleaning up and spraying silver. But if you look here, there's quite a lot of heavy corrosion. So I've bought a couple of cans of alloy wheel paint, and I think what I'm going to do is take the wheels off, rub them back, get them as smooth as I possibly can, and just kind of spray over these to improve them. So I've given the wheel a quick clean, and even though it's come up and it's looking quite good, if you look here, we've got quite a bit of corrosion around this kind of lip where the badge is, and there's various other little bits. There's a bit of a scuff here, and I just think that realistically, to make it look as presentable as possible, I should just give these a quick coat. So what I've been doing, I've already practiced on 2 others before I show you how bad my spraying skills are, but I bought 4 cans of this for 20 quid. So 1 can has done 2 wheels. I'll go through the process I did on this one just to sort of show what a DIY finish is. But ultimately, all I've done is clean the wheel up, and then I've sanded down and picked off all the areas where we've got the corrosion, and then gone over it with a light dusting of primer, and then about 3 coats of that alloy wheel paint. So let me get you set up on time lapse and I'll show you what I've done. So I just went in there with like 240 grit sandpaper and just sort of knocked back all of the raised bits. There are a couple of areas which I've not been able to get completely flat, and that will become more apparent when I put the primer on there. But what I'm now going to do is just do another light rub down, probably something around about an 800 grit, just to kind of take out some of the harshness of these lines. And then I'm going to get it all masked up, and we will put on our primer. So we'll cut back to when it's ready for that. Right, so that's all the prep work done. I've scotched down and rubbed most of the area of the wheel down with an 800 grit and then a 1000 grit just to kind of key it a bit and try and smooth it out. I've then used some of the panel degreaser prep just to get any of the kind of greases or anything off the surface, and then I've obviously done masking tape around the outside edge. So now let's get that first layer of primer down and then we can review how good the finish is. Okay, so that's the first coat of primer on. I'm going to leave that about 10 minutes and then I will do 2 more coats and we'll cut back as soon as they've dried and gone off. Okay, so that is the primer all done. I've done 3 coats of it. There are a couple of little defects showing through, but I'm not too fussed about that because it looks a lot better than it did. So the next thing we need to do now is get our alloy wheel paint on there. I'll get 3 coats of this on and then we'll cut back and see what the finish is like. So that's the wheel back on the car. As you can see, it's come up really well. There's a couple of little marks there, but ultimately I think compared to where it was, it looks a lot better. I've done the other ones as well. So I've obviously done the rear that side, and then let's say I've done this side as well. So they're both all sorted. Just really finishes off the car. So I think when this has had its, I've given it a quick clean, but it's been now sat for a week. So I need to give it another quick wipe down, do some tyre dressing on there, and then get this photoed up ready for sale. Other thing that I've done is basically where we had that bit of paint, I've just built up a few layers of paint on here, which is currently still drying. That's basically what I've done, is just use a toothpick, keep on layering up the paint from a touch-up kit. When that's all dried and gone off, I'll then just knock that back with a bit of wet and dry sandpaper and give it a polish, and that should level that out so it's nice and flat. So that's the Citroen all done, ready for sale. I'm going to get this listed on Facebook Marketplace, but I am just going to post it locally on one of our groups, just because I know there's quite a few people in the area with young children that are currently learning to drive, and this will be a perfect first car for somebody. Right, so let's get to our total cost. So that's where we were. So the front tyre, that came to, I'll put it right at this side so I can actually see it. So £25 for a front tyre, and that ended up being a Nexin, I think it was, so it was a fairly decent brand. Dents to the rear bodywork. I've tried to give some money to Reese to say thank you very much for doing all this work, because 6 hours, he spent 6 hours working on the dents in that car. And I know there's still other dents in there, and he, you know, even he said to me, ultimately, he could spend an entire week on it and he'd still not be happy that everything was done. But he has helped us out massively there. I'm definitely going to sort him out a drink, so let's call it 50 quid. I will get money into that man's bank account as soon as he lets me know, because he offered to do it for free, just so that we've a bit of publicity for, a bit of publicity for his business. So please, if you've got any dent work needs doing in Peterborough or Greater Peterborough area, please give him a shout. The details are in the description. Alloy wheels and bolts. Now this was a bargain, so I bought 4 cans of that alloy wheel paint. I've only used 2 of them, and I paid £19.99 I think it was. So the alloy wheel refurb has cost me £10, which I think is brilliant, and they look really good. And then the exterior clean, obviously there's zero cost for that, because I just did that with some shampoo and a quick wash over the weekend. So we need to add £85 onto our total, which brings us to a grand total. I'll just wipe that original bit off, of £1,152.80, which I think, considering how good that car now looks, yes, it's not perfect, but that is a really good price. And I'm thinking we want to try and aim for about £500 profit, I think. So I've looked online and I'm going to list that for £1,700, and I'll, you know, somebody's going to negotiate me down a little bit on that, but that should leave us hopefully a nice tidy £500 profit within that car to put into the next one. So that brings us to the end of the video. If you have enjoyed it, please remember to like, subscribe and share it on any social media to try and grow the channel and grow more awareness of the channel. I've had new people join that said, oh, I only just found your channel, really enjoyed the content, and I've binge watched all through your videos, which is really nice to get as feedback, because I'm not talking to a person, I'm talking to a camera, and the comments section is where you can kind of voice your opinion on the videos. Is there anything you think I should be doing differently? And like I say, if you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you know every time I drop a new video. What do you think about the value that we're asking for that car? Do you think that's a fair profit margin? I mean, I'm quite happy with that. £500 from a car that ultimately I won for £375 plus the fees. And that's going to put a nice little bit of money back into the bank account to buy the next vehicle. So with that said, I really hope you've watched this and enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one in about 2 weeks' time, when hopefully that car's sold and I've found as the next vehicle in the series.